Welcome to the another episode of International Teachers Talk. Today we're going to meet Miss Kamayani Joshi. She's a lecturer of English in government school in New Delhi. She has been teaching English for over 29 years. She has been a mentor teacher for 6 years. She has developed content working with State Council of Educational Research and Training in Delhi for students and teachers of English. She has been facilitating workshops on pedagogy of English across schools in India in both online and offline mode. She has been a presenter of English lessons on the national TV channels in India. She has recently participated in the US Open Alumni Exchange Program on integrating social emotional learning in the English language classroom at Washington, D.C., followed by participation in the TESOL Convention at Portland. Welcome, Ms. Kamayani. Thank you so much for joining in this interview, especially sharing about the wonderful happiness curriculum. First and foremost, can you please introduce yourself a little bit?
Thank you, sir. Namaste. I'm Kamayani Joshi from India. I'm based in New Delhi, and I've been teaching in government schools of Delhi, and I've worked across various schools in various capacities, teaching smaller classes to middle classes to senior classes. And I've seen that children in all age groups are a very interesting, group of people to talk to. They are great motivators themselves, and so they keep me motivated to become a teacher and continue remaining a teacher. Thank you.
Oh, it is very great to know that. So during the exchange program, I have heard a lot about the happiness curriculum. It is interesting actually. So let's focus on it today. And can you please start sharing when and how it started?
Okay, so it started on the 2nd of July 2018 by His Holiness the Dalai Lama. He was there to launch the curriculum in New Delhi. The background behind which, the idea of launching happiness curriculum was that despite, students coming to school, learning and scoring good marks, there was some human connect or human essential qualities which were missing in children. And that could be manifested in various violent episodes, not only in schools, but outside schools, in the society in general, in the world all over. So it was felt that there is something missing in our curriculum, the way we teach in our schools, that we are not being able to produce individuals or children or citizens for tomorrow who will be peace loving and will be happy individual. Somewhere it was thought that these children, when they grow up, go out into the society, and these are the ones, who will be involved in, mobs, will be involved in violence, will be involved in, kind of relationships which become sour after a certain time. This is what you see in society. So, not being educated was not the reason of not being happy. Somewhere something was missing. So in schools, we were just making them literate, perhaps, and not preparing them for life. So it was thought that if we make them human beings rather than just individuals who will become doctors or engineers or teachers or architects tomorrow, we should move towards, developing the qualities of human beings, what make us human. And therefore, we launched with this curriculum. And also, when various studies were done, India was not found to be very good on the happiness index. And therefore, the very need of bringing this curriculum from schools so that we can think about the future as well, not only the current thing. So that was the concept, perhaps.
So it is not just about education, it is also preparing the students for the future and for their life. So when you're doing that, I'm pretty sure that you also need to include the educators, parents, and students. So how did they adjust to it in the beginning of this curriculum?
Very interesting. So you have asked a very interesting question. Now, the curriculum name is Happiness Curriculum. That means it has to be taught in schools. So the first question was, can happiness be taught? So everybody was like with a big question mark. How can you teach happiness? People become happy. They are happy or they are unhappy. How can you, make them happy and teach them how to be happy? So the concept of thinking that no, happiness can be taught. You can tell the children, make them, trained individuals to seek happiness of their own, to look for happiness inside them. And that has to be taught, because we have not taught them at all how to be happy. We have taught them math, we have taught them languages, we have taught them social sciences, we have taught them art, but we have not taught them how to be happy, right? So from looking happy to being happy is a state of mind, right? So you don't have to look happy all the time. Looking happy is okay, only the face. But are you happy from the inside? So it's moving from that state of just looking happy to really being happy. This is what the objective of the curriculum is. So the parents were quite happy. They were not very, doubtful about it, because they wanted their children to learn something new. The teachers, though, they were a little doubtful. Can we teach happiness? Are we capable enough of teaching happiness? So teachers were trained before we brought it to the classroom. So how to take up these classes, what to expect inside the class, what to do, what not to do when you are taking a happiness class. So there was a lot of training that happened, and the philosophy behind happiness curriculum was taught to the teachers. So they are convinced as to what they are taking to the class, because these teachers are, trained to become teachers in their particular subjects, the subjects they teach in the class, but not for happiness. So they needed that kind of a training, and slowly and gradually that momentum gained. And teachers also understood that happiness is not only for children, but for their own selves. So once they are happy, they will be able to translate the entire curriculum to the class as well.
So that's
Children
why
are always happy. Children took it, very happily. They were very active. Something new is happening. A classroom, where, you will not be tested. That's the best part of it. You're not going to be assessed. How can you assess your happiness? Like, you have to take it from your inside. Nobody is going to ask you questions about your happiness. So the children were happy that there is going to be no exam, and yet we have a period when we are going to be taught happiness.
So in order to adjust it, as you have already mentioned, the first one is you give the concept to the parents, you also give the training to the teachers and students. So totally they are totally, for the students, they are naturally adjust to it. And it is a very good thing indeed. Thank you so much for that. So when you introduce the happiness curriculum, what are the impacts in your country or maybe in the classroom?
Okay. We believe in the philosophy of what Mahatma Gandhi once said. He said, happiness is when what you think and what you say and what you do are all in harmony. So it's all about harmonizing everything. So all the states of mind, what you're doing and what you are actually speaking, it should be in harmony. Your behavior should be in harmony. So when we take these classes, the way we conduct these classroom, the pedagogy of happiness in the classroom is designed in certain ways where the children get enough opportunities to speak out their heart, to speak out what they want to, and they are not judged. So the kind of stories and activities in the process in the class, it helps the children to think on their own. So it is not about the outward happiness that you talk about. You talk about self-reflection. So when you self-reflect about very small things in life, when you change their attitude from reaction to responding, immediately you see that the children become more accepting of the other's behavior as well. In the classroom, you are a teacher yourself and you know what happens in a classroom. Children sometimes don't want to share things. Sometimes they are the ones who want to speak all the time. There are some of the children who don't want to speak at all. And there would be children who will, keep fighting with each other, quarreling with each other over small issues. So all these things have started becoming very less in our classrooms now, because children have started becoming the quality of acceptance is coming, that I give a chance, an opportunity to my friend to speak, to take the lead in any program. Suppose we were having a group work earlier. So the children would want to be the leaders themselves. Everybody wanted to be the leader. So here, when you are giving them a chance to circulate the leadership among your group, now they are more readily accepting their friends becoming leaders and they themselves not becoming leaders all the time of their groups. Moreover, there are certain activities or certain responsibilities that teachers are giving to the children. So earlier on, what would happen is some of them will be the ones, who would take all the responsibilities, will become the stars of the class, and the rest of the class will just lie behind. Okay, these are the ones who take the lead all the time. But with this curriculum, everybody is getting a chance. There is no judgment of any kind. So when the children are not being judged, they become confident. So they come out and speak and share things. We have seen that when we have these classes, we start with mindfulness first of all. So we have 2 minutes of mindfulness, and then we have mindfulness of various kinds: mindful listening, mindful observation, mindful breathing, mindful drinking. And I can share this example right now with you that how do you drink your tea? Like you pick up a cup, you pour it, and you drink it. That's it. But how to be a mindful drinker, even if you are drinking a glass of water or when you're drinking a glass of tea, just bring it in front of you, take the aroma in, and feel what you're going to drink. Be thankful to the persons who have brought this tea to your cup. Not only the cup, where has the cup come from? Somebody must have made that cup for you, right? Somebody must have plucked those tea leaves for you. These tea leaves must have been processed somewhere. There would be people doing all this work. There would be people who will bring this processed tea to the factories and to the packaging industry. From the packaging industry, somebody must have driven the trucks and brought it to the shops. The shopkeeper must have sold it. Somebody must have brought it to your house. The money that you exchanged was made by somebody else. And then there is a cup in which you poured it. Before that, you used the gas stove. Then there was water that you used. If you're putting milk in your tea, that milk has been procured from somewhere. If you're putting sugar into your tea, again, this whole number of people involved in bringing that sugar to your table. When all these people are responsible for bringing this one cup of tea to you, and you sit here drinking with it, you should have this gratitude of feeling thankful to everybody involved in the process. And when you are having this tea, think what it will do to your body system, how your body will enjoy this tea. So when you're thinking about all these things, you naturally become thankful to people around you. So rather than picking up fights and quarrels and being dissatisfied with your own selves, you start becoming humble. You start respecting people for the work they do for you. So a simple activity of just drinking tea can make you aware, the social awareness that we studied in the SEL. This becomes a social awareness that you understand what people do for you. So you are not the only one in the society. You are a person who is a part of a larger cosmos, and therefore think how you can contribute to the society. We don't teach this. We just ask them to think of it. So when they start thinking, they themselves make a chain of how many people are involved. You just have to give them a trigger, and then they can, pay their gratitude to everybody in the process. And this is mindful drinking, right? So mindful breathing is when you're breathing inside, yeah, the kind of breath you are taking, the breath you are taking out, you are mindful of the breath that you are taking. So we also ask them to think. You can place your finger just below your nose, in between your lips. Take a deep breath. Breathe out. So what is the temperature of the air when you're breathing in, and the temperature of the air when you're breathing out? So which one is cold and which one is a little warm?
So, like the one that goes out might be a little bit warmer.
Yeah. So why is that? So the teacher will not tell it.
Mm.
It is the students that will tell, because they have observed now how they are breathing. What is the process of breathing? So kind of science also comes along. You don't have to teach science separately now. Now they understand the process of respiration, how they are taking in air, how their lungs are deflated or inflated. This is what they learn in the process. So the teacher is not teaching. She's just asking them to observe. So slowly and gradually, they become more observant, and therefore they're more focused in the classroom. Now, the problem that teachers face sometimes is that the children are not paying attention. So how to pay attention? Nobody had taught them how to pay attention. We just say they don't pay attention. So how will you teach them how to pay attention? When they become observant of everything. Then we have mindful listening. They sit quietly in the class. They are asked to sit, in a straight posture and just think, relax and think and listen to what are the sounds that they are listening. There are various sounds inside the classroom, from outside the classroom. And they are every child, even if it is a class of 40, 50, 20, 30, whatever the number, each and every child is given an opportunity to speak. They might be repeating what the other person had said, but they speak it with their own mouths. So they get an opportunity to speak. Sometimes they don't, in the whole course of study, they don't get a chance to speak at all. Right? They are always writing something. So speaking out has made them more confident about themselves. They start sharing, information. They start sharing about their personal feelings because they know that nobody is judging and all the answers are correct because you are thinking on your own and your thought process has come out with an answer.